Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Quest Exam Bites. Each of these short tutorials will give you a clear and concise overview of a different exam paper. Today we're going to be looking at English Literature Paper 3 and this is for the CIE IGCSE. Okay, so just a quick overview of this paper. It's 45 minutes long. You get 25 marks for this paper. It's just one question that you must answer and it's open book, so you will have a copy of the text with you. So this is your drama paper. You must answer one question from a choice of two on the text that you have been studying in class. You've got a choice of either the extract question or the full play question. So you can read the questions first and decide on which one you think you'll be able to write the better answer for. So obviously don't answer both, just pick either the extract question or the full play question. If you choose the extract question, the extract will be printed on the exam paper for you to use. But if you choose the full play question, then you will obviously have a copy of the play with you to help you with that. So let's have just a quick look at the different skills that you need to demonstrate here. So understanding, show that you've got a good knowledge of what the play is about, the setting, the action, the context, the characters, the relationships between the characters, how relationships, characters, action, themes develop and progress across the play, the different ideas that are expressed by the writer, and also the themes. Also want to make sure that you are demonstrating the skill to analyse. So you should be analysing the different methods used by the writer. So as this is a play, you should be able to identify, comment, analyse the different dramatic devices that are utilised across the play, what the effect is, how they are used, think about what it adds to the action of the play, or what it adds to the overall play itself, what it adds to our understanding of the characters, the actions, the themes, as well as your language analysis. Also, you can still analyse the language and the structure, as well as the devices that are particular to the form. Interpretation. So think about how are you interpreting the extract, if it's the extract question, or how are you interpreting particular events, characters, the action, different relationships that we see, what are the deeper meanings that the writer is trying to express to you. And finally, the personal response. This is really important. So it's your personal response not only to the question, but to the play itself. What are your ideas and views with regards to the text, with regards to the question, and what you want to say about the question. And also don't forget that your ideas must be supported with relevant quotations and evidence from the play itself. So let's begin with the extract question. So first of all, let's quickly run through what you have been tested on. So your understanding of the play itself, your understanding of the text, but also your understanding of this extract and its place within the text. Obviously, if you didn't really have a good understanding of the text as a whole, you probably wouldn't understand the extract or the significance of the extract. Your understanding of the context, if it's relevant here. Your understanding of the meaning or message of the play, as well as the writer's intentions. Understanding the methods used by the writer and the effect that these have, why they've been used, what the effect on the audience is. So do remember that there is an audience here, not a reader. And I've just put some of the different dramatic devices here that you can talk about. So all of these, obviously you can do your language analysis as well, but these are specific to the form, which is a play, so don't forget to utilise these. Show that you can comment on language, structure and form. So down here, this is where everything is relevant to the form here. When you're thinking about the structure, think about the structure of the extract itself. Think about how our ideas progress or how a character develops, or even how a theme may develop across the extract. Your ability to select and use relevant quotations or evidence within your answer, and your ability to formulate a personal response with regards to the question. So just make sure that your writing is obviously clear and coherent but well structured. So this is where a good plan will really become useful. So how to answer. Read the question, deconstruct it, highlight the key words, think about what they mean, think about what your focus is. You could write these on top of the extract as it will kind of keep you on track as you're going through and highlighting. So I've just put an example question over here. Obviously I've not included the entire extract just because I don't have that much space here, but this is an example of one of the questions. In what ways does Priestley make this moment in the play so dramatic and revealing? So obviously your keywords here are dramatic and revealing, and that's what you're trying to prove. You're trying to prove the different ways in which he does that. Once you've kind of understood what you're looking for, you've gone through the question, then read through the extract. Where is it from? What's happening? So you just want to make some really, really quick notes here. Where is it from in terms of, in the play? So obviously you're told here, this is from Act 2, but you want to just make sure, okay, I know what happens in Act 2, but I know what happens before it, I know what happens after, I know at what point the characters are at here in this extract, I know at what point the action is at. So you've kind of got to show for yourself, that you understand the significance of this extract and the significance in terms of the characters and the development, or the themes and the development. So just kind of place it within your head in terms of all the key events and where this one slots in. Think about who is involved, so the characters. Do they progress through this extract? What are their relationships with other people like? What do we notice about them? What can you say about them? What are we shown? And then think about, why is this particular extract significant? Obviously it's been chosen for a reason. So why is it significant to the play itself? What do you learn from this extract? Why is it important? Think about the mood. Think about the mood or the atmosphere that's created and how. Think about the themes. Can you track particular themes? Can you attach them to characters or action? And then think about what the playwright is trying to show us throughout this extract and why. And then just do a quick brainstorm. What are the big ideas here? So if you brainstorm some key ideas and then key words, you could use them later on when you're trying to kind of develop your essay and write up your points. So think about what are the bigger ideas here outside of the play. What is the writer trying to show you? Is it about identity? Is it about relationships? So really just kind of think about those big ideas. Then you can go through and highlight anything relevant to the question and some of the ideas that you've already got. So you will already, just from making notes here, have a lot of key words that you may be able to use for your points, or you may be able to use to explain or analyse your quotations. So once you've got this bank of ideas, then you can take your highlighter, go through the extract and just highlight anything that's interesting, that stands out, that's relevant to the question, but also that you think is key, something that you can really analyse and develop in detail. As you're highlighting, do think about, well, what could you say about this example that you're highlighting? What does it show? Think about any patterns that you can comment on. Maybe there's a semantic field as you're going through, or maybe you notice something about how a particular character acts, or maybe one character constantly interrupts another character. All of those are patterns, and it's really good to be able to show that you can notice those, and you can figure out what the significance is, and you can track those throughout the extract. Also think about, can you link any of the quotations together as well? Again, so this kind of goes with the idea of creating patterns. And as you're going through, you can just jot down some ideas, even if it's just writing down, oh, this is an entrance, this is an exit, or this person speaks for a long time, or even if you want to analyse a metaphor. It'd be a good idea to just make some notes, and then that helps you to kind of remember what you want to say about it when you come and write up your essay. And then just do a final plan, and this is where you look at all of your notes, or you look at all of your highlights, and you look at all of these ideas you've got from up here. Think, okay, what do I actually want to say? What's going to formulate my essay? What am I going to use in the body of my essay? And then you can kind of eliminate anything that either you don't feel you could use, or it's irrelevant to the question, or it's not really strong enough for you to comment on, or you actually look back at it and think, well, I've highlighted this, but I don't actually know what I would say about it. So that's when you kind of make your plan, think about your point sentences, and then go back through the extract and decide which quotations you will use. You can even just number them. So if you've got your point 1, and then you've kind of number all the quotations that you want to use in point 1 and give them a 1 next to it. And so then that'll be much easier when you're writing up your essay. It gives you that structure that you need. So how should you structure your answer? So make sure that you've got an introduction. It does not have to be very long at all, just a few sentences will do. And then you've got the main body. So you may have more points than this. It's completely up to you how much time you have. But you want to make sure that you've probably got a minimum of 3 developed points that you can make, with a variety of evidence within each one. And then conclusion if you've got time. So just think about overall, what have you learned from the extract? Think about the keyword as well. Think about the big ideas, or think about what you have even shown with regards to the focus in the question. And here are my suggested timings. It all depends on how fast you write or how fast you read. So you may decide to take a few minutes from here and there and move them around a bit, but probably want to spend about 10 minutes reading, highlighting, just making some notes on the extract, and then wanting to spend maybe 5 minutes pulling all of that together and giving yourself a structured plan that gives you the points that you want to mention. And then give yourself about 30 minutes to write up your response. Okay, so if you do choose the full play question, you are tested on the same things that I've just gone through for the extract question. It's slightly different in terms of how you answer, obviously, because you don't have just a short extract in front of you, and this is just an example here of the full play question. So this is our example from When Inspector Calls. So first of all, read the question, deconstruct it, highlight the key words, think about what they mean, think about your focus. So for example, here we've got, does Priestley's writing make it possible for you to have any sympathy for Sheila? So obviously want to kind of just first of all brainstorm anything that comes into your mind. So just throw everything onto the paper, and then once you've got all those ideas down, then you can start to organize them, then you can start to select the best ones. Then do your formal plan. This is where you look at everything that you've brainstormed and you think, okay, well actually this is a really strong point I've got over here. I'm going to use that as my point 1. Actually, we've got one over here. This could be point 2. Oh, this one's not very strong. I'm actually not going to use that now on reflection. It's a good idea to just have a lot of ideas to choose from, and then you can just kind of ask yourself questions. Can I find evidence for this? What would I say about this? Is this relevant to the question? Can I expand upon my analysis here? So you want to ask yourself all these questions before making your final choices for your plan. So choose your best ideas, but also decide on your evidence. So you don't want to start telling the story of the play. You want to make sure it's still a structured, analytical essay. So make sure that your plan reflects that. That will help to keep you focused when you write it up. Then, of course, write up your answer. Now, my top tips here for you for the full play question, just ensure that your points and ideas show that you've got an understanding of the full play. So what you don't want to do is just focus on one act. You want to show that you've read the whole play and you understand how the focus of the question develops throughout. So think about how the characters, the themes or the action develop, select your evidence. It's useful to kind of think about beginning, the middle and the end to try and kind of track that character or track that focus all the way through, and just think of specific examples, and that could be your evidence. A specific example of something that happens, if we're thinking about this question. So you could think about, how is Sheila introduced at the beginning of the play? How do we feel about her? And then bring in this keyword of sympathy. Think about, to what extent do we feel sympathy for her? If you do, what is it that makes you feel sympathy? That will be your evidence. Think about something specific that happens. And then think about, okay, around the middle of the play, do our feelings shift? Do they change? Do we start to feel differently about Sheila? How? And that's where your evidence comes in. Oh, well, it's when she's talking about this, for example, or it's when she says this. And then you go to the end of the play, okay, how has this character now developed? How have my feelings for her developed? Do we still feel sympathy? Has the sympathy shifted? Has it changed? So you're tracking something all the way through the play, but always remaining focused on the question. Would help if you brainstorm your ideas in chronological order. So when you do step 2 here, if you do them in chronological order, this will really, really help you to be able to track the focus of the question. So if you've got maybe 10 ideas just thrown down on a piece of scrap paper as your initial brainstorm, but they're in chronological order, then you might be able to kind of say, oh, well, I like this one I've written first. I'm going to skip now. Oh, the 4th point I've got here is really, really useful. That will actually be point 2 of my plan. And it just helps you to be able to select ideas, but also helps you to ensure that you are making sure you're commenting on the whole play rather than just one particular section. So in terms of how to structure your answer, very, very similar to the extract question as well. Just the introduction will be slightly different because you're not really talking about the extract. You're talking about the play as a whole. You're thinking about the keyword in the question, and you're kind of giving an overview of the different points that you will mention. If you think that actually the audience has a very difficult relationship with Sheila, and at points we do feel sympathy, but this isn't maintained, that may be something that you may want to include in the introduction, because then you're going to prove that with the different points that you're going to make. And my suggestion for the timings, just your initial brainstorm and your planning, take you around 15 minutes, giving yourself roughly 30 here, just to make sure that you can write up a detailed, developed personal response. So thank you very much for taking part in this lesson. If you would like a more detailed overview of how to answer questions for this particular paper, then do check out my other YouTube tutorials where I go through the extract question in much more detail. Also, don't forget to visit my website so you can download your student guide. So it's a student-friendly version of everything I've gone through today in the lesson, and it's free to download from my website if you go to mrquestclassroom.com, and you'll find this on the Student Zone. So thank you very much. Goodbye.